Assalamu alaikum and welcome to It's Our Day. শুরু করছি আজকের অনুষ্ঠান স্বাধীনতা দিবসের শুভেচ্ছা সবাইকে দিয়ে. Of course, today is going to be a very different episode of It's Our Day. Normally we have a lot of dancing, we have a lot of singing, we have Kobita Abriti on our show, but today we have brought something very different and very special for you guys at home. Today we will give you an understanding and insight into life during the war in 1971. I am joined today by three very special and inspirational people, and we're going to be discussing their stories here on today's show. First, on my left, I have here Jamal Khan. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam and assalamu alaikum.
And Afne bolbe apnar how you found your dad's picture after several years of looking.
I found it 47 years after my father's picture.
47 years before you found your dad's picture. I am also joined here by the wonderful Shamim Azad. Welcome to It's Our Day.
Thank you, my darling.
And
I have a connection with his stories. Like his
yes.
one is about 47 years, and the person that I'm going to talk to you today, I found him after 43 years.
And he was your war brother. He was
War
a brother.
I
of yours,
call
yeah.
him Yuddhir Bhai. That's right.
Yes. And last but not least, I'm joined by Imran Chaudhary. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me in your show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. And of course, we're going to be discussing how your experience was living as a refugee in 1971.
Yes. It's a very poignant story, but it's something that we ought to know and tell the boys and girls of our present day to know how we have achieved this Bangladesh, and we call it so proudly our home, our country. And to trace back those footsteps, how we have achieved it.
Yeah, definitely. All three are very important stories that our youngsters need to know. And I think everyone can learn something from this, whether it's appreciating a little thing in our life, whether it's the fact that we can speak Bangla at home, or whether it's appreciating our parents or appreciating the roof over our heads, little things even. I think we can all learn something. Exactly, having your own freedom country. It's a very important show today. I think we have today on the show. So, protome, we are going to be speaking with you, Jamal Khan. Afna lage foila shuru hormo. Afna story kita. Afne foila shuru horsoin. 47 years. Afne search horsoin. Afna abbur photo lagi.
আমার আব্বা যখন মারা যান তখন আমি আমার জন্ম না আমার আব্বা মারার 7 মাস 8 মাস পরে আমার জন্ম স্টোরিটা কইলো আমার আসলে জানি না আমার খুব কষ্ট লাগে এবং আমি লাস্ট 47 ইয়ার ইমরান ভাই আছেন আমার অনেক দিন তাই ফোন করছেন আমার আব্বা লাগে কিন্তু আমি কোনোদিন আমার আব্বার কথা কইও না বিকজ আব্বা মরার পরে আমার জন্ম বাদে আমি আব্বার একটা ছবি তো দূরের কথা কিচ্ছু নাই তা আমরা 6 ভাই সবার ছোট আমি এক বোন তানও ছোট আমি আমার আম্মা অনেক কষ্ট করি আমরা সব লন্ডন বড় করতাম পালছেন আমার যখন বুঝইল তখন আমি থুকাই আসলে খুঁজি বাট একটা জিনিস আমি 47 বছর খুঁজিয়া কিন্তু আমি পাইছি অনেকে তো পায় না বাট কিন্তু পাইছি পিকচার পাইছি কিন্তু তুই স্টোরি আমি আসলে হওয়া ভালো লাগে ভেরি হার্ড বাট এন্ড অফ ডে আল্লাহর হুকুম কিছু মানুষের সাহায্য সুবিধা পাইছি যে আল্লাহ বা বেদনা একটা আসলে আমি ছাড়া পৃথিবীর সেকেন্ড মানুষের বুঝতো না এবং এই স্টোরি তো স্টোরিও ছবি পাইছি কিন্তু স্টোরি তো কোনোদিন জানি না বাট আমি ফিল করি ইমরান ভাই আছেন শামীম আজাদ আছেন জানি না বাট আমার দুঃখটা আমি কেউ বুঝাইতাম পারতাম না বাট আল্লাহর হুকুম সাহায্য সুবিধা আমি আমার আব্বার ছবি পাইছি এবং আব্বা খুবই মারা গেছেন আমরা কেউ জানতাম না কিন্তু আউটও আমি পাইছি এবং 5 মে মারা গেছেন 1971 আউটও আমি পাইছি আব্বা কোন জায়গা গণখবর হয়েছে আউটও পাইছি সিলেট কাটের ইগু সারসালে গু আসলে গড গিফটেড অ্যান্ড জানি না বাট বাকি জীবন আমরা অনেক বড় ফ্যামিলি আমি মনে করি কিছুটা না হইলে আমি আমার ফ্যামিলি আমরা নতুন প্রজন্ম গেছে অন্তত ওকে একটা জিনিস তো প্রমাণ করে দিয়েছে এবং তারা আমার সাহায্য সুবিধা তারা ধন্যবাদ। আর স্টোরি তো আস্তে দিন কথা, বাট এগুলোটা জানি না আমার লাগে খুব ডিফিকাল্ট। আমি ইমরান ভাই ভাবনা, বাট আমার লাগে আসলে ভেরি হার্ড।
Can I take it?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, I do. What happened was his dad and my dad, they worked in EPR, East Pakistan Rifle. And at the time, in 1971, when the EPR in Sylhet revolted for the first time, it was under the command of my father. He was based in, there's an airport called Shamshernagar Airport. On the 27th of March at 9:45, the first round that ever was fired from the Bengalis towards Pakistani soldiers was from my father's revolver. So what happened after that, they reorganized after doing this, the ambush in the airport when the oncoming Pakistani column was coming to the airport to capture and disarm the EPRs. So they were attacked, ambushed, and there was a lot of atrocities, few deaths and all that. They regrouped together and they wanted to claim back Sylhet town because Sylhet was by then fallen into the hands of the Pakistan army. 31 Punjab regiment was in Sylhet in Khadimnagar, so they captured the whole of Sylhet. So these freedom fighters, my dad and the rest of the other freedom fighters, they decided, why don't we go back from Shamshernagar, from Teliapara, from Hobiganj and Molvi Bajar, Kulaura and all of that, and let's go and recapture Sylhet from the hands of the Pakistanis. Now, it was a very uncertain period of time because an army only can fight if that has got logistics. If there is no logistics, it's very difficult to fight a war. So they attacked, the convoy was coming to Sylhet. So the first instance...
So before we go on to that side of the war, let's just revert back to just how we...
Yes, I was just thinking,
Yeah.
like Jamal was a baby first. When he was born, he was, I mean, when he started sort of, becoming aware of everything, he had an information that his father was Shaheed.
No,
But
he
as
was
a-
missing at the time.
Missing, okay. And as a child, he knew that his father was engaged with this liberation war. So, জামাল একবারই তো নিশ্চয়ই তোমার খুব লাগছে না নিয়ে তো একটা বাচ্চা হিসাবে তুমি মনে করো আমার বাবা মুক্তিযোদ্ধা আসলা আর একবার দিল বাবারে ফাইরা না কিলা লাগছিল রে ভাই তখন
বাবা তো আফা একটা বুঝাইতে আছে না, আমার বাবারে তো আমি জন্ম দেখছে না।
ওখানে কইরা যে এই যে
তখন আমি
মিস
তো খালি
করা
একটা
যায় তখন
বাংলাদেশ দেখছি, কিন্তু যে বাপে আমারে জন্ম দিছে, আমরা আস্তে একটা ফ্যামিলি, আমার সব বড় ভাই বয়স তখন 15 বা 16 হইব, আমরা তখন 7 জন। আমরা আপনি ফিল করুক, একদিকে বাপ নাই, বাংলাদেশের যুদ্ধ স্বাধীনের, একদিকে আমরা 5 জন ফ্যামিলি, তখন আমরার অবস্থা তো এগু আসলে এগু ফিল। বাট আমার ভাই আনতে বা আমার যারা আসলে, আমি তো ছোট, আমি কিন্তু দুঃখ বুঝছি না, কিন্তু তারা তো এই জিনিসটা তো কেউ ফিল আপ করতে পারতো না।
আসলে যারা বাংলাদেশের স্বাধীনতা যুদ্ধটা দেখছে না, তারা সারা কেউ কইতে পারতো না কি একটা হেফাজত কন্ডিশন ছিল বাংলাদেশে তখন। ওজনের তানোর আব্বা, হিজ ফাদার ওয়াজ ক্যাপচার্ড বাই পাকিস্তান আর্মি, দ্যাটস অল উই নো। We don't know anything else. What happened when the attack failed and the EPR, East Pakistan Rifle, the soldiers ran out of this ammunitions. There was no replenishment of ammunition. তখন তারা decide করলো, my father and few others, my father was one of the commanders, company commanders, তারা decide করলো যে okay, we can't fight anymore, throw your weapons away and we will meet in this rendezvous, means RV, we will all assemble in 10 days time in Chatlapur BOP, border outpost, which is near Teliapara, near Shamshernagar and Shaistaganj. But what happened was there was an element of 5-6 people who wanted to go back to their camps to see what is happening. They went into Sylhet town. And allegedly there is a story that when they went into Sylhet town, near the present radio station, there's a Sora in there, 6 or 7 of them were captured by the Pakistanis. Okay, and Chasa was one of them. We used to call him Kaka. It makes me, anyway. Then We don't know anything. Allegedly, there was a lot of those POWs were arrested and taken to Sylhet Cadet College. That was the army headquarters at the time. And ওখানে অনেক মানুষকে মারা হয়েছে. They have killed, butchered a lot of people, and there was গণকবর means what do you call in English? Mass grave. Yeah. So he did not know anything because the records, the books, the service books, always in a mess. So later on, I knew about this story, and I actually phoned all of his brothers and I spoke to them because I'm writing about my father and I'm writing about the story of the Sylhet War. So I spoke to them and I said, tell me more about Kaka. Means we call him Kaka because in the services we call
Everyone,
we call them Kaka. So I found out and I did a lot of digging. But what happened was, if you remember 2009, there was a problem in Bangladesh. All the records were burned, so I couldn't retrieve any more. So, but the story lies that for him to understand, just imagine growing up as a child, not to know what happened to your father. Either
Yeah.
is alive, dead, or
Yeah.
is he in a prisoner of war somewhere?
And I know it's such a, I know it's a very emotional thing. And after thank yous and after our photo it's obviously a very personal thing. And then after share it's such a great thing, and thank you so much. But after ask I have to ask. I know it's quite emotional, but after suto ki boro and after photo but how did you feel? As in, of course, it's the first thing after dekhoin.
It's a spitting image of him.
I have to say the same thing. You look like your father.
You just look like your dad.
Yeah, it's
He does.
you are a spitting image of him.
Your dad,
And it's you can't fake that. It's,
Nah.
it's right there.
So proud thing to have.
Yeah, we can see on screen. I would say you guys look the exact same. And how did you feel? Like, you look like your dad. I know it's very emotional, but kilan feeling like after abbar foila dekhsoin.
Proud feeling.
It's a proud thing.
Of
I think.
course. He's a proud son of the
Definitely.
soil who fought. Today aজকে আমরা বাংলাদেশ কইরাম because তানোর মতো আত্মত্যাগ sacrifice করছে বলে আজকে we have Bangladesh, and he must be immensely proud to be a son of a freedom
And
fighter.
of course, like afnar abbar lagi amra asi. We are all here because of your dad.
Oh yeah.
Because
He gave
of
us
your
the
dad.
country.
ফলেও আমি হয়েছে আসলে এই ফিল্মে আমি যেদিন পিলখানা যেদিন এবার গেলাম 27th of February, জানি না আমি সকালে 7টার ফ্লাইটে সিলেট থেকে গেছি।
It's really hard.
It's hard.
I can imagine. I can only imagine how it is.
ফাইল দেখেও আমি ফিট হয়ে গেছি। আর
Very difficult, I think.
It's difficult.
এক কথা আসলে আমি জানি না, এটা আমার লাগে ভেরি হার্ড এটা।
Then again, তুমি বাই হইতে হইবা, হইতে তোমার মনে হোক শান্তিটা আইব। যে লস তোমার হয়েছে এটা তো আর ফিরিয়া ফাইতাই নাই, কিন্তু বুঝরাইনি তুমি।
একদিকে খুশি, একদিকে আমার আম্মাও মারা গেছেন, কিন্তু আম্মা তো দেখে গেল। আম্মা অনেক কষ্ট করছেন আমরা লাগে। এখন আমি বুঝি, বিকজ আমার একটা ছেলে একটা মেয়ে। এখন আমি বুঝছি না আমার আম্মারে আমরা কত কষ্ট দিচ্ছি। বাট আমার ভাই তারা আমার খুব আদর করতে বা আম্মায়, বাট এখন বুঝি। বাট ফিরিয়া পাইছি, কিন্তু আমারও তো নাই, আব্বার নাই। বাট এন্ড অফ ডে আমি প্রাউড ফিল করি যেন আমি তো পাইছি একটা জিনিস। অনেক একটা ইমরান ভাইকে আমার অনেক ফোন দিচ্ছেন, আমি এখন ফিল করি আসলে তারাও আমার। কিন্তু আমি কোনো ইমরান ভাই সামনেও বই আমার আব্বার কথা মারছি না, বাস্তব প্রমাণ। তাই না, আমার অনেক করবেন। আমি চাই না ইভেন আমি আমার ফ্যামিলি খেলো আমি আমার আব্বার কথা মারছি। বাট আমার একটা বিশ্বাস আছে যে আমি একদিন না একদিন খুঁজলে ফাইমা সত্যি হইয়া থাকলে। বাট আমি প্রমাণ করি যে আমরা 6 ভাই, আমরা এক বোন। বাট আমরা সব মোটামুটি উদ্দেশ্য। বাট এবং আমরা ফ্যামিলি অনেক বড় এখন। সো আমি যাই হোক এন্ড অফ ডে একটা জিনিস প্রমাণ হইল যেন আমার আব্বা দেশও লাগে জাতি লাগে এবং বহুতটা ফিল করেন, বাট আমি জানি বা আমার ফ্যামিলি জানো বা আমার আম্মা যে কষ্ট করেছেন এটা তো পূরণ করতে পারতো না, বাট এন্ড অফ ডে একটা দেশ জাতি এবং বাংলাদেশ যদি শান্তি থাকে তারা আত্মা যারা শহীদ হয়েছেন তারা আত্মা শান্তি থাকবো ওটা আমি মনে করি। আর ইউ তো ফিলিং বা আসলে এইটা স্টোরি তো জানি না, এগুলা ভেরি হার্ড এগুলা খাওয়া এবং জানি না আমার লাগান তো অনেক আছেন আরো তো এগুলো ইমরান ভাই হয়ে গেছেন। আর এটা স্টোরি আমি যখন এবার আমার আব্বার গণখবর দেখানো ক্যাডেট কলেজে এবার আমি চাইতেও পারছি না। আমি প্রায় সময় শামীম আজাদ 25শে মার্চ আমি শহীদ মিনারে যাই বা আমরা অনেক অনুষ্ঠান করি, বাট আমার আলাদা ফিলিং রাখছো। বাট এবার আমি যাওয়া বাদে জানি না আমার খুব খারাপ লাগছে। আর
ভালো লাগছে নিশ্চয়ই।
একদিকে বালা খারাপ, এদিকে আম্মাও নাই, বিকজ আম্মা সবচেয়ে খুশি থাকলো না আম্মা দেখে দিতে পারতাম, কিন্তু আম্মা তো অনেক কষ্ট হইয়া দেখে দিতে আসে না। আমার আম্মার একটা ছবি পাইছি আমি ফাইলো, আমার বয়স মনে হয় 34 বছর হলো বা 32 বছর ফাইল। আর ফাইলটা পাইয়া আরো খুশি হয়েছে, কারণ এই ফাইলো আব্বা যখন তাই হামাইছিলা কত বছর চাকরি করছেন, 24 বছর চাকরির লাইফ আব্বার। এবার 1927 আব্বার জন্ম, আমিও জানতাম না এটা, আমি কোনোদিন জিজ্ঞাসি না। আব্বাই সাইন দিয়া যে কাগজ সাইন দিছিল ইংলিশ লেখা এক্স্যাক্টলি আমি দিলাম আমার অত বল আব্বার লেখা ইংলিশ হল্লা, বাট একটা অনেক স্মৃতি গুত মাঝে মানে এখন লাইফও একটা মানে একটু হইলে আমার লাগে একটা সবচেয়ে বড় লাইফও সবচেয়ে অ্যাচিভমেন্ট হইলো না মনে হয় আমি লাগি বা আমার ফ্যামিলি লাগে। ফিলখানা তারারও ধন্যবাদ জানা, তারা যে সম্মানটা দিচ্ছে আসলে এগু বাসার না। তারা আমার অনেক আমার ফাইল দেওয়ার কথা না, এরপরও তারা সব কিছু আমার দিয়া দিলে। এর বাদে আমার জন্মের আগে আমার আব্বার মৃত্যু, এর বাদে তারা দেন তুমি যেন টান চাইলে আমরা, এরপরেও যাই হোক তারা আমার বিশ্বাস করিয়া মোটামুটি সপ্তাহ দিছে। আমি গ্রেট, যারা আমরা হেল্প ইমরান ভাই আছেন বা অনেকে তো এগুলো ব্যাপারে হেল্প করছেন, যারা করছেন তারারে ধন্যবাদ। আর বিশেষ করে এগুলো পাওয়া পরে প্রথমে ফারান ভাই চ্যানেলে ফোন করছেন মনে হয় মঞ্জু ভাইয়ের দেশ, তাই নাইছো না ইয়া আমি পয়লা 2-3 দিন আমি গেছি না ইন্টারভিউ দেওয়ার, চ্যানেলে তারারে ধন্যবাদ। বাট এগুলো স্টোরি তো, বাট এগুলো যতবার আমি খোয়ার যাই এগুলো পাওয়া পারতে আসলে আমার একটা মাথার মাঝে ওলা বেদনা আরম্ভ হয়েছে। এখন যতবার মনে হয় আমার আসলে অনেক কষ্ট হয়, আর আমি চাইও না এটা অবশ্য, বাট এন্ড অফ টাইম মনে করি যে আমরা একটা দেশ পাইছি, এন্ড অফ ডে হইলে তো একটা পিকচার তো পাইছি। তো বাকি যে জীবন এখন তো আমরা জেলা ছেলেমেয়েরা অন্তত তারা তো কইতে পারো তারা দাদা ওলা আসলা।
আপনি আপনার son and daughter আছেন, সো আপনি তারারে দেখাইতে পারছেন দিস ইজ আমার আব্বা,
খালি আমার না আমার বাতিজেন
ফ্যামিলি
35-40 জন।
তারা রিয়াকশন কি তারা এক্সপেক্ট করছেন নি দেখবার লাগি?
ও তারা সবে আমি তখন দেশে আসলাম, ওরা তো সব লন্ডন, তো তারা দেখেও তারাও ফিল করে। এখন মানে সবেও যে পরিমাণ খান্দন বা আসলে হওয়ার না, বাট আমার একটা বেবি হয়েছে 9 মাস হয়েছে। তো আমি মনে করি আমরা পূর্বপুরুষের লাগে যেন আমি আল্লাহর হুকুম আর যে জিনিসটা তৈয়া গেছে একটা আমরা মানে ফ্যামিলি লাগে বা আমরা যে লাগে একটা ইতিহাস থাকবো। আমি মনে করি এগু ঠিক আছে, বাট যে একটা হয়েছে আমার বেলা এগু তো অনেক হয়েছে কিবা অনেকে পায় না, বাট আমি তো যাই হোক সব সহযোগিতা পাইছি, তো ওটা তো একটা সান্ত্বনা।
And definitely I think আপনার অনেক ধন্যবাদ, আপনি শেয়ার করছেন আপনার স্টোরি and আপনার বাবার পিকচার আমরা লগে। I think it's inspiring as well, and আপনার strength is enough আপনি আয়া হইতে পারছেন। I don't think আমি ইলান ফাল্লা মনে হইতে, সো আপনার অনেক ধন্যবাদ আজকে আইবার লাগি।
আপনারও ধন্যবাদ, চ্যানেলের ধন্যবাদ। আর তারাও কষ্ট করছে আসলে, অনেক মিডিয়া অনেক বিশেষ করে ফারহান ভাই আমার ও দেশ থেকে ফোন দিয়েছেন, বিদেশের মিডিয়া সব প্রেস ক্লাবেও ফোন দিছে, অনেক আমার মায়া করেন শামীম আপা আছেন তাই আমার এই দেশ থেকে আইসি 23 বছর ধরেছি আমরা তো এন্ড অফ ডে সবর সহযোগিতা আর এখন পর্যন্ত দিলাম মায়া করা বাট আমি মনে করি ইগু থেকে আমিও অনেক জিনিস শিখছি আমার এই ফাইল দেখি আমি তো আব্বারেও দেখছি না আব্বার লেখা আমি তো জানতাম না আব্বা কত লেখাপড়া করছেন আবার ইতিহাস দেখে আমি মানে তাই কত লেখাপড়া করছেন কবে তার জন্ম কবে জয়েন করছেন সবটাই ব্যাপার হইলে আমার ছোট থাকতে ছবিও আমি দেখছি না এগুলো মানে চাকরি জয়েন করার সময় দেওয়ার লাগে
বিয়ে করার পরে দেওয়া লাগে হ্যাঁ
কিন্তু এই জিনিসগুলো আসলে আমার অনেক কষ্ট দিছে বিকজ আমার ফ্যামিলি কেউ জানতাম না যে নত কাগজ আছে তারা কইছে আমার ভাই তারা অনেকবার গেছেন তারা বার করে দেওয়া হয়েছে আমিও অনেকবার আমরা পিলখানা যেতাম আগে আমরা প্রত্যেক বছর নিত আমি ছোট থাকতে যাইতাম পিলখানা যেতাম সিলেট আখালি নিত আমরা এভরি ইয়ার নিয়ে আমরা মানে খেলাধুলা সব করতো আমার তো পেনশনও পাইতো তো আমি কল্পনা করতাম ভাই তারা অনেক চেষ্টা করছেন পাইছেন না বাট এন্ড অফ ডে আমরা বংশ লাগে বা আমরা ফ্যামিলি লাগে বা আমরা ইয়াং জেনারেশন লাগে আমার বাচ্চা কাচ্চা আমার বাচ্চা সবর লাগে মোটামুটি আমি মনে করি এটা হইলে আমরা একটা বড় হওয়া আল্লাহ গড গিফটেড দিয়েছে নাহলে এই যে ফাইল এজেটেড ফাইল কিন্তু রয়েছে দিলা কাগজ কিন্তু ইমরান ভাই দেখছি পুরানা কিন্তু লেখা আমি দিছি জোর আছে সব কিছু এজেটেড রয়েছে মানে কল্পনা করা যায় না তারাও সারপ্রাইজ গেছে এর মাঝে কদিন আগে আপনার জিও ও পিলখানাত আগুন দেওয়া হয়েছে তারা কইছে সবটা জ্বলে গেছে কিন্তু আমি দেখলাম আব্বার ফাইল যাতা মানে
intact
Yeah,
from the record of his designation he was in the signals. So as far as I know, anybody who was to work in the EPR signals, he must have to be a matriculate. Okay, so that's another thing, that he was a matriculate person who joined the East Pakistan Rifle, and he was posted in the signal branch of the EPR, and he was a Lance Naik, so it's a Lance Corporal in this country. He's a big post, he's a section commander.
I think
he has to be very, very proud
definitely,
to,
I was just going to say this is I think if we leave aside everything and just think it's a very, very proud moment, and you can be very, very proud of your father for what he's done for our country. It's unspeakable.
Yes,
I think we can't really say anything in words what he's done for us. But thank you so much for coming onto the show. It's been such a pleasure hearing your story. Thank you for having this moment and sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
We are going to be going on to a short break now, but we'll be right back with a lot more inspirational stories for you guys to listen to, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back to It's Our Day. Today's show is very, very different. We are listening to 3 very inspirational and emotional stories about the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971. We are now moving on to our next guest, poet Shamim Azad. So you are going to be talking about how you found your brother in Florida after several years.
Yes.
So when you were younger, he's a little bit younger than you.
Yes, I was 18 or 19 during the war.
Okay.
I was a university student, but during the period of the war, we all were engaged somehow or other.
Yeah.
The girls we were doing the spying, or taking one message and giving it to others. Sometimes we were supporting the guerrillas who were coming to Dhaka for operation, and our friends are actively actually in the war.
Yeah.
So I mean there are several stories, but the story that I was going to tell you, honestly, Jahin, I couldn't have him back if I wasn't a writer. Because so many people lost their families, so many people lost their brothers and sisters, and the house were lost. burnt, and there's no clue. Like Jamal got his father's picture after so many years. So he actually knew that I'm a writer, but I had a different surname. That was my father's surname. I was Shamim Azad.
Yeah.
And I was 18 or 19 years old. I used to write.
Yeah.
And he searched me as Shamim Azad, and he couldn't find me. And I didn't even know his full name. He's Abdul Rahim Bulbul. But I knew him as Bulbul, like my little brother.
Yeah.
And he had a dimple in his cheek, and he was so fair. And like, there were curly hair all over his face. And that was a shocking moment when, during one of those nights during the war, someone knocked into our door. And those rings for the padlock, if you rattle too much, it makes a hole.
Yeah.
So I used to look through the hole. Who is there? Either the military or the Razakars, or who is it? My parents said, don't open the door until you see who that is. It was night. My father was asleep. My mother was asleep. And I was awake and listening to Shadin Bangla Betar Kendro. My brother was listening to it. And when somebody knocked, really, really soft knock on the door, and I looked through it, I said, my God, look at this face. It's really soft. Who is that? And he just called out my name. And he said, who has sent him here? I opened the door. He came in, and there was a little space between our dining space. And during that time, it was like, we could never light because of the curfew, and I think bombing, blackouts. So everything was dark. In our dining space, there was filigree kind of wall. Through the hole, a little light is coming from the road, and I saw him. It is mysterious. I said, who is that young boy? And I still has goosebumps, thinking, first time, look at this. A young person like him also in the war. What made him to join the war? That's a long story. Then he was hungry, and after the entrance, I don't know what he did, but I know with other Muktijuddhas that he's keeping his stuff over there. Maybe his stun gun, maybe his grenade, or he had something with him, a bag. And then he looked at me, and I served him food. He was hungry, thirsty, tired. Bashat kunta asil na re mahidin. আমি তো young মেয়ে তোমরা লাগান. I used to cook for everybody. There was a house full of refugees and stuff. I mean, they're taking refuge. And on that night, মিঠা কুমড়ার সালন আসিল only. খুব ভাত আর কি আমি রাঁধছি. And অনেকটুকু ভাত আসিল. অনেকটুকু ভাতের লগে I have given him a little bit of curry. And then he just ate it. He just cleaned the whole plate.
I know.
And খেয়ে, then he is saying, Afa moja hoise. I still remember that smile. That time I noticed the dimple. And I said, my God, whose son is he? Has he got any mother? Has he got a sister like me? And he is fighting in the war. He may be dead tomorrow. But, we were like secret agent. We didn't ask any question because, if I was caught, I would give the information to the military, or he didn't ask any question. He just said, I have got a job to do, and he just disappeared. That was the first encounter, but there were several. Like he came and we did some work together, all that. That is the first part of the story. Second part of the story, I got married after Liberation War. It was 1972, and then I changed my name. I was still writing. My parents actually left the flat, and before my parents left the flat, I saw him once or twice, and he looked really like very frustrated. His hair wasn't really into the right place, his clothes, and he was so frustrated after the war because he was just a young boy. And what he imagined or dreamt, it wasn't happening. It was too short a time to happen. But he saw such a young person has experienced something of the life that which an adult would find it difficult to take.
Yes.
So his life was ruined. He couldn't go and start doing his study. He couldn't settle down. All that was happening. And by that time, I don't know, we lost contact. Okay, all this were going by. Every 14th December, because he was the first one who came and gave me the information about my Shohid teachers, my martyr teachers, that the intellectuals were killed. He just came into the room, Shamim Appa, go! আমাদের সর্বনাশ হয়ে গেছে, আমাদের স্যারদের মেরে ফেলেছে. So he went to Rajar Bazar and he saw them, their dead body, and I saw him and I cried. I mean, and the whole...
Was it happening in Dhaka?
Dhaka.
Okay.
Thank you for asking this, saying this. It was the one of those flat in Sobanbag. My father was a government servant then. So I never could forget his face for this day, because on the 16th of December he came again, and that time all the fighters were firing in the gun, and he was so proud. Appa amra স্বাধীন হয়ে গেছি. So এই যে একটা কিশোরের একটা চিৎকার, আপা আমরা স্বাধীন হয়ে গেছি বলে, what he did, Jahin, I still get goosebumps. You know why? He is just a young fella and he just আমার পায়ে ধরে সালাম. আমার প্যারেন্টসরা আছে কিন্তু ওর কাছে আমি তখন ওর সিস্টার, বুঝছো? এই যে পায়ে ধরে সালাম করলাম, আমি জড়ায় ধরলাম ওরে. Then the whole story is very, very long. He couldn't find me, I couldn't find him, and I'm still contributing. I'm Shamim Azad and I'm writing everywhere. One day suddenly an email came to me, because after my column my name used to be printed with my email. Someone said, Kabir from Canada said, you know, by any chance have you ever been Shamim Torofdar? I said, what do you mean? This is how, that was his brother-in-law. And every time he is meeting someone who is engaged with writing, he used to ask them, do you know Shamim Torofdar? And they said no. And this guy, and then he connected us both. On the first day when we were connected, we both just cried and cried. We couldn't say a word. And then he went crazy. Afa, আপনাকে আসতে হবে, আমি টিকিট পাঠিয়ে দেই, আপনি চলে আসেন আমার কাছে, আসেন আপনি ভাইয়ের কাছে, আমি সমুদ্রের কাছে থাকি, এখানে বসে বসে খালি লিখবেন. I couldn't go because my husband was actually very ill, and after a few years he died. I couldn't leave him on his own. ওখান থেকে he kept on saying, please come and see me. আপা জীবনে একটা বার ভাইয়ের কাছে আসেন.
And then when did you finally make the trip?
So last time, actually, I have come from America, not even a week. In Florida, there was Boy Mela. And when this Boy Mela people invited me, I said, I know, Bulbul, তুমি কোথায় থাকো ফ্লোরিডার? বলে, I'm in Boynton Beach. I'm going to accept the invitation now because they are giving me the fare. I can see you. So in the airport, while I was there, his grown-up son, and him was there with flowers.
Oh.
And I just hold him, and we both looked at each other like, you know, we never thought we are going to see each other. But interesting thing is that he was so young, and you know, I mean, everything wasn't in right order, and we have seen the papers. He was never enlisted as a Mukti Yoddha. So he was really feeling very low. But in my writing, I'm so glad, I have written in my memoir, Ekla Jege Roi, my book, and about him, so many people know it now. And from there, I have telecasted 2 programs, one live in Facebook, and people were like overwhelmed by the fact.
I think it's amazing that you've given him that recognition that he so deserved, I think.
And all his family, they were crying. They said, you know, you just brought the pride back to us. He said, you know, and after that, just only on the other day, I saw Florida TV invited him to talk as a Mukti Yoddha, which is he's so proud of.
My goodness, can you imagine?
Yeah, that's an amazing story. So after so many years of not knowing where you were or him looking for you. It's really inspirational that he
were
found.
looking each other, and we
Yeah.
found each other. When we found each other, I mean, who says only blood brothers and sisters are you know, I mean, close?
Yeah.
The closeness that I have
I mean, you
with
can
Bulbul,
see it here, like,
And
how
I-
happy you both are.
But you were Tarafdar, we never knew it. I always read her writings in
As a
Bichitra.
Tarafdar, yes.
No, Shamim Azad, yeah.
Oh, that was after my
75,
marriage.
76, 77, she used to write science fictions in Bichitra, and that's how we reconnected ourselves and we made friends. But I never knew they were Tarafdar, honestly.
Yes, actually, after my marriage, girl, never change your name.
No,
after
you
your
shouldn't.
marriage.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't, because this is what I had been writing. Like, that is my identity. That was who I was. And just by changing my name, I had other difficulties as well, because people couldn't recognize, people couldn't connect the same writer. So I had a challenge in my life.
Yeah.
But this is something like, I would say, all these memories that I not only brought his memories,
Yeah.
I brought his pride,
Definitely.
which is so alive, because I am the witness. It's not a certificate.
And
It's
I
a
think-
human being is
Yeah.
saying, look, you know, I know what he did. He bombed in Sabur Khan's place.
In
Dhanmondi.
Dhanmondi, okay, yeah.
And I
He
think
blew
it's
that.
amazing that the fact that you can, with your job and with your community that you have and the people that follow your work, you can spread his message
This
and
is,
spread what he did for us.
Unless and
that's-
until anybody has seen 1971, you will never be able to understand. I can exactly connect with her because I have seen it through all. I was 10, 11 years old and she was 19. So you can imagine what we have gone through
Yeah.
for you guys to call it a proud Bangladesh. And it just happened, unfolded. The whole history has unfolded in front of our eyes. Can
Yeah.
you imagine what we have witnessed and
I
how
know.
proud, immensely
Yeah,
proud we are to be part of that scenario where
Yeah.
the country became an independent country is such a proud thing, honestly.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I
Yes.
think. I mean, looking at your face and the smile that you are all giving me right now, it just shows. I mean, just the pride that you have.
And also, like, you know, during the war, we all were related like a family. People gave shelter, people just gave food, and it's the war that we fought is the people's war,
People's war.
isn't it?
It is. The camaraderie, oh my goodness. I mean, I can write books and books and books. We lived in the country for about 25 days before we poured into India.
Yeah.
And the hospitality from unknown, we never been to a village ever in our life. But the people, how they have given the
Yeah.
hospitality.
And I think, Fupi, you mentioned that how you hadn't met him before, but he knocked on your door and you let him in and you gave him the curry and the rice.
Yeah, because he had to whisper the name of the commander.
Yeah.
Who sent him?
He said, you know, Nasim Siddiqui has sent me. And I said, okay, you can come in.
Yeah. And did many people come like this?
Yes,
Yeah.
there are several others, because they used to bring in, what my role was that, you know, they used to bring in leaflets to actually circulate to various dangerous places, including the radio station,
Yeah.
including the university. With risk, we used to go there. Me and my friend Babli, we used to do it. Also, the Mukti Jodha and the guerrilla who were giving us information to our teachers. You know, I mean, where is the safe place? They mustn't be there at home because the people are planning to kill them. So all that, these are really long stories. I have written a lot about it.
Yeah.
Shahid Munir Chaudhary, Mufazal Haidar Chaudhary, Anwar Pasha, and then Rashidul Hassan, all of them are my direct teacher.
Yeah. And I think from that little snippet of your story, I think we have gathered a little tiny idea of what it was like living at that time, and then meeting your brother after all these years, that emotional rush that you must have felt of finally being connected after such a long time. I think we can only imagine and feel just how a little bit of the emotions that you must have gone through. Thank you so much for sharing your stories, and of course for
I'm
bringing
so proud
the
of
pictures
Bulbul.
of him.
And he is very known now from my writing. People call him Juddher Bhai Bulbul Apni. Assalamu alaikum.
That's amazing. That's so
Amazing.
wonderful and inspirational to hear as well. How you can use your contacts to
All these,
help
you know,
bring
young
people
people
together.
who participate in your show, they can imagine, like, you know, as young as 14, like why a person would go to war.
Yeah.
Because they were forced to. They have seen their older brothers and sisters. They have seen how the village after village been burnt into ashes.
And I can imagine that would have some emotional effects on a young person. That's a young teenager seeing those sights and those
Actually,
images.
it was him who trained me how to throw the grenade. You know, there is a detonator and a key.
You have a pin to
key to it.
yeah.
But that's a different story. I got caught, you know, after the war, I kept them as a memorabilia. And once I was going to the radio station, because after the war, we had to do voluntary job into the hospitals. Me and Babli was doing in Holy Family Hospital and in radio station. We said, you know, we can be doing the nursing and stuff. And by this time, my marriage was kind of, you know, taken place. The engagement took place, and there wasn't any telephone from our home because it's just, you know, I really was desperate to talk to Azad. But I completely forgot that in my bag, I still have one of those grenades and those guli. The
rounds, yeah.
Golden ones.
Yeah, the
and I kept them as a souvenir. Do you know? And then the rickshawala was very old one, and he was pulling his rickshaw. It was a nice summer day, and I was going to talk to my would-be husband from radio station because I'm a volunteer there. They all love me as a young person. They all know that my marriage has been fixed. I said, Muzakir bhai, ami ekটু ওর সঙ্গে কথা বলতে চাই. Come on, you can use my phone. I was going actually to talk to him, and the rickshawala was pulling really slowly. By the time he was crossing the Shahbag radio station, I said, "Thamen here," and he just gave it such a hard break, and I was thrown out of the rickshaw. Rickshaw puller was there. Everything went into the drain, and I got cuts and wounds and white sari, and my mother was actually yelling at me. তোমার বিয়া ঠিক হইছে অনেক গর্তনে যাইতাই না তুমি আমি কইলাম মা I have a radio program I have to go. I lied. And then people found those grenade and the gulli.
Luckily it didn't go off.
No, because you know everything was taken. It's a souvenir, and they took me to the radio station police, and by the time our military was there and I was arrested. That was a huge story. I have to come to tell you another day.
We have to hear that another time, definitely.
It is also a fascinating story, another day.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us. It's such a pleasure to hear from you. We'll be going on another tiny break, but I'll be right back with one last inspirational story for you guys. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to It's Our Day. We will now be discussing what it's like to be living at the time of the war in Bangladesh as a refugee, what it was like. Let's move on to Imran Chaudhary. Welcome to It's Our Day. So I just have to start off with your story. How old were you at the time, and how does your story begin?
I was 10 years old to start off with, and by the time the war ended, I was 11 years old. My story is very different from theirs because...
and I know you were like a refugee at the time.
Yes, we had to evacuate our house in Brahmanbaria, that's where we were. And the 17th of April, the Pakistan Army with 4 Sabajets did bombing for 39 minutes. And as soon as the planes went off, there was a rumor that from 2 sides of the town, Akhaura and Voirab Bazar, the army is enveloping the town. So the rumor was just run.
I have to ask, you were 10 at the time.
I was 10.
Did you understand what was going on?
No, we understood everything.
Yeah?
We were part of it because before the 71, 25th of March started, the warming up things were happening. There was no school, everything was closed. My brother and I, we were allowed to go out in the evening, join the processions, join the obstacles. That's my brother who passed away, who was killed in 1971. He was 17 years, 5 months old. And so what happened, we left. We don't know where we were going. My mom, my brother, My sister, 15-year-old, and two of my younger brothers, we started running to the countryside. Everybody else, it's the biggest exodus of people I have ever seen in my life. I have never run in my life. I was one of the most laid-back child of my family, and we ran and ran and ran. So it's from 5 o'clock till about 7, and it's in March, April, and that's the Choitromash. So the summer is kind of a summer. It takes longer to have the sunset. So by the time it was sunset, we went into a house and we asked for shelter. I said, can you allow us to stay? They said, yeah, you're more than welcome. We're so grateful. I'm still so grateful. And they said, but only one problem. We don't have any room because there are more than 70 people in the house.
Oh
so
my God.
you can stay the night, but you can stay. And we slept in the cowshed. From a fantastic pristine bed and a nice paoruti and bread and butter, the next morning I had a piece of gur and a chapati, and we slept in the straws. And that's the journey that started. Anyway, we lived in the countryside for about 20 days in the Brahmanbaria, Koshba, Burichong, and Muradnagar area, various villages to villages, because the problem we were very conspicuous. Conspicuous in the sense my mother was born in Calcutta. She speaks very Shuddha Bangla. And we are always speaking in Shuddha Bangla. So in the village, we were like a sore thumb. And the village people were very sensible. They said, if you guys are here and your head of the family is not with you, so they will make out that your head of the family has joined the freedom fight. And if they come to know, they will come and burn the houses. So we had no choice but to pour into the shores of India, which was the longest journey of my life. I was walking and it was raining. Oh, it was this monsoon rain, and the rain was so... I loved Bangladeshi rain. Bangladesh is the only rain in the world which is warm rain, right? This is the beauty of Bangladesh, and I love, getting wet in the rain.
Like our April showers.
April showers. But that day the rain was so pricking, it's like needles pricking. I never walked in an aisle in the lands of the fields, and every step you give, you fall off. Anyway, my youngest brother, he was 6 years old, so in between my brother and I, we took him on the shoulder, and running with your life in your throat is the worst experience of your life. There was no water, so whatever the water we found on the field, we took it. Went into India, took us 2 days, no food, nothing, we just walked.
So when you're walking, you're not thinking about where you're going, you're just walking?
No.
You know
we
where
know
you're
the
going.
sense of direction that this is the way. If you walk east, it will enter into India. That's what.
Do you know where you'll be going, or
no,
it's just,
no
just need
town,
to get to
no
that
name,
place?
nothing.
Just the direction.
Just the direction, because we know the east is India.
Were you not
Agartala.
scared as a little child? Because
We
you don't know what's
we
going
were
to be
so
on.
scared. My mom had a lot of trepidation and a lot of reservation about going into India, because there's a long story.
Were
1946.
there any male member?
No, my brother was only 6,
So
17.
you were the guardian?
No, my brother was 17.
Oh,
My brother was 17, my sister was 15, and I was 10, my younger two brothers 8 and 6. But whilst there's a road which is called Kumilla to Brahmanbaria Road, and Ujanisha, there is a bridge where, this song, musician Bulbul, who passed away a few days ago.
Yes. I know.
Shop kota janala khule
Brahmanbaria,
dao na.
yeah.
He was arrested in that bridge. That was the biggest concentration of Pakistan army. And to cross that road, we had to put charcoal, powder of charcoal, to my sister's face, so that she looks like a khazarfuri, so that the Pakistan army don't get attracted to him, and takes her away from us. Anyway, we poured into the shores of India. My mom said, where are we going to India again? I left India in 1949. I don't want to go back to India, but we had no choice. We went in, and the Indian people were so grateful. I'm so grateful to them. They opened their arms, embraced us, gave us their room, gave us their food, gave us the utensils, gave us money to buy some vegetables and blankets and pillows and everything. And we stayed there about 10 days. And on the 2nd of May, they were 3.5 miles away from Agartala. There was a new refugee camp opened. And it was called Surjomoni Nagar Special Camp. So there was one 12 by 12 room. With
So you just moved in there?
Yeah, we just moved
all
in.
of you were in
all
that
of you
one
in
little
one room. No utensils, no clothing, nothing. We just had one pair of clothing.
Just an empty room.
Empty room on the floor, and with 6 of us used to sleep there.
Yeah.
And the life, I'll never forget the life. My brother, in about 2 weeks' time, Mom said to him that if you guys are eating and sleeping in the house, in this room, we'll never be liberated. Go and fight.
Yeah.
So my brother left.
Yeah.
I was the one left with the most casual, the most callous, and the most laid-back one. And I had to take the responsibility of the 4 people now. My job used to be wake up at morning. There was a big machete we bought from the tribes market, and used to go in the jungle, leeches, big red and black ants biting all over, and the lojjavati kata and the beter kata is so painful, so pricky. I used to chop the trees, small branches of the trees, bring them over as a firewood, lay them in the sun to dry. Then my next job is I had one bag, jute bag. I used to go and stand in the ration queue for hours and hours and hours. I was the youngest one in the whole of the queue. The older people used to shove me, push me, cross me over. You know, Bengali people don't like queuing, so we can't. And by the time, many a time I reached the end of the line, when I went in
Nothing left.
What was
guys,
the average ration that they
Oh,
would give
ration
you?
was you get about 2 kgs of atta, 2 kgs of rice, and a kg and 1 kg or half a kg
And
of
how
dal.
often can you get?
Every 2 days.
Every
2 days. So
And salt.
and salt.
That
and
sounds
that's
like
it.
one meal
Yes,
each.
nothing. And we 4 of us, 5 of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, to tell you the truth, my father was in Sylhet, in Koilash Shahar, in the opposite side. His wages were, Indian government used to give him 75 taka. He used to keep 5 taka with him, and 70 taka he used to money order it to us. We had quite an affluent lifestyle before all of that happened in 1971. But to cope with that life was the worst experience of my life. And I tell everyone that I lived through that. Come back from ration, Mom used to cook something, and there was there is a link with her. In Bharateshwari Homes, where she was a student, there was one homeopathic doctor who opened a surgery, a charitable surgery. So he needed some volunteers to roll the homeopathic tablets. I was the first one to go and join. Rustex 30 has to drop 2 drops of homeopathic medicine and root the milk of magnesia.
As a 10-year-old, you had several jobs.
And you were a shabuk as well.
Then what happened at the end of the time, you know, the present law minister, Anisul Haq, and his brother, Ronnie, I, and Shamor, we were given responsibility to go and distribute newspapers. We used to go to the various freedom fighters.
How old were they?
We all were 12, 11 years old. We used to work, and Joy Bangla was our identity. You go to a bus, truck, or you stop anything and say, I'm from Joy Bangla, they will say, okay, free ride, next stop. So you go and distribute newspapers just to boost up the morale and say that look, freedom fighters are doing fantastic jobs and all the hyped up kind of headlines and all that to boost the morale up. And then we formed a scout troop. I'm still a scout. I joined as a scout in 1971. I'm still a scout. We formed a cultural team. We used to go to various youth camps where the freedom fighters were being trained, and we used to go to Melagor and Hafania. And we used to go and sing Rokter dame kinechi mora priyotomo shadhinota roktei mora ragbo jetar man tobu debona golar dhan. Then kararoi louho kapat bhenge fel korre lopat rokto jomat shikol pujor pashan bhedi. And then I used to be a very good reciter, so my job was to go and recite Bolobir chiro unnoto mamo shere shere nihari amari noto shiro shikhoro himadrir.
So where is it that you would go and do this?
Oh, the various freedom fighters camps, where the camps were surrounded all over the place. They were, I mean...
Can I come into that? Like, during that period, my other friends who just went on the other side, in the India, like Imran is saying, they formed groups to inspire.
The freedom fighters
Yeah.
morally boost them up.
And the people took refuge to keep their moral strong.
Yeah.
To give them the information and sing the Shadin Bangla Betar Kendra song.
And then last few days, after doing all of that, when December time the real war started, in Agartala GP hospital, there was a Mukti Juddha, Joy Bangla ward, and there are hundreds and hundreds of limbless, eyeless, wounded freedom fighters, littered all over the floors, littered all over the beds. So 3 of us were taken in and said, guys, can you help those nurses? So I became a shebok. And one of my patients was there. His name is Bahar. He's a Bir Pratik. And I only knew he had a bullet in his left leg, in the thigh, and everything was broken. He was supposed to be amputated, okay, because they couldn't fix it. So he used to cry in his bed. And I used to go and sit down and he used to say, Imran, Munna, my nickname, Munna, can you massage me? I'm having pain. So I used to massage him, read the newspaper. And in Bangladesh those days, we didn't have the luxury of a nail cutter. So we had I had to cut his nail with a broken half blade.
Half a blade,
Wow.
yes.
Okay, very risky things. Anyway, in about 3-4 days' time, he was in bed number 19, then he was shifted to 39. And all I know is Bahar from Kumilla, who was fighting, blowing a petrol station in Kumilla, who got injured, and he was brought back. One day we went and he's not there. I asked a few nurses, but it was so busy, shifts, they don't know. Said, we don't know, bhai, get on with your job. So I got on with my job. All I remembered all my life, that Bahar from Kumilla, who had a leg injury. Now guess what? 47 years later, this Facebook, I owe my life to Facebook. I one day wrote that this is what I did. Wish anybody knew Mr. Bahar from Kumilla. I thought he's dead, or his leg has been amputated, or he may be posted to Lucknow and other hospitals where all the freedom fighters used to be treated who needed amputation and limbs. Many of them came to East Germany. So I thought he may be lost in the midst of it. So I wrote that I knew a gentleman who I treated in Agartala GP hospital, Bahar, from Kumilla. He went to Shashangaza petrol station. He tried to blow it up.
All
and
the
Pakistan,
details.
all the details. I have a very sharp memory. Guess what? Out of the blue, an ex-army officer, Major Shahjan Mullah, writes me back, Imran, how do you know him? I said, he's senior to me. I said to him, sir, I know him because I was his shebok in GP hospital. How do you know he was in GP hospital? Because it's very, only few people knew that he was in GP hospital. I said, I know him. Where is he? He said, he is in his Bir Pratik. He's alive. This is his number. So I called him and I speak to him very regularly. But the takeaway from all of this is, I think humanity triumphs. It's so important to know.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine I owe my life, honestly, to the grace and grace and humility of the Indian people. Otherwise, I would have been killed today. I would not have been here.
Definitely.
And secondly, I never ever thought I will make it back to Bangladesh, because I knew my father is in the fight. He will die one day, because every day they were bringing 1 or 2 dead bodies. This is my father here. And my brother, I know my brother may not make it. I was trained as a 10 years old. I was sent out to do reconnaissance where the Pakistani positions are. There's a EPR camp called Gushaistal and Chandrapur. These 2 BOPs are Iraqi. And I knew that I'll be joining the freedom fight. And I never thought I will ever see the Bangladesh physically. And that was only one thing that I was always worried. And it had a huge impact on my life.
I can imagine.
In the sense that psychologically, I became very cantankerous. I never used to listen to anyone. I found a rebellion in me. And secondly, I felt that there's a thumping noise. It continued for after about 3-4 years, that I used to feel that the Pakistan army is coming and it's going to kill us all in the camp. We're all sleeping on the floor.
The horror.
No blankets, nothing. And it was the worst winter in our life. Nobody would be able to paint a picture what we have gone through. But having said that, we never lost the faith that we will make independent Bangladesh. And I'm so proud, I'm so honored. My brother laid his life for the country. He was arrested, arrested on the 11th of November in Brahmanbaria, Nabinagar, taken to Brahmanbaria jail, tortured for 11 days, 10 days, 11 nights. And on the 21st of November, it was only 9 days before the independence. 9 days.
Yeah.
He was taken out of jail, and that was, ironically, that was the Ramzan Eid. 21st of November was the Ramzan Eid. They were taken out of the jail on the bank of river Anderson. There's a canal called Anderson Canal. There's my father's medals there. He was killed.
Yeah.
And they left his dead body there. He was only 17 years, 5 months old. And one day, the remains of my brother's body just amalgamated with the soil of Bengal, soil of Bangladesh. No wonder I feel so proud. And every time I utter the word Bangladesh, my heart bleeds, drops somewhere. But out of all of this, I'm so proud. I'm so immensely proud that we have sacrificed.
Yeah, definitely.
And trust me, 1971 was the most finest hour in the history of the Bengali race.
Absolutely.
We never, I mean, everybody was your relative.
Yeah. I think I have to agree with that. I think we have a lot to be proud of, but the humanity is what you mentioned earlier. Everyone helping each other out. It doesn't matter if you know the person.
I mean, I'm telling it to the kids of this country, the diaspora kids. You ought to know how proud you ought to be, because we have sacrificed our life, our yesterday to give you your today, to be a proud citizen of Bangladesh and to call yourself a proud Bengali. It's an immense pleasure.
And I think, and I hope that today's show has allowed the youngsters at home to feel that pride and to understand the sacrifice, what everyone has taken
we have
that
endured.
time,
I think
the struggles and what the stuff that you had to go
the history
through.
has cheated us. I'm sorry, sorry to interrupt. This was a Holocaust. Trust me, this was a Bengali Holocaust. The oppression, the subjugation, the rape, the murders, the killing, the annihilation of the Bengali race was as if they are just copycat replication of what happened in Nazi Germany. That's what they are trying to do. And we have come out of it proudly to have a country for ourselves, like his father's.
And I think it's
can you
not
imagine
too late,
how proud he ought to be? His father laid his life for our tomorrow. You know, it's such a proud thing to have.
So.
I think your viewers, these young viewers, those of you who are watching this show, put yourself into the shoes of those young people who never saw the father. And Bulbul is a young person, left the house, house full of people, like 3 or 4 sisters, dad, never saw them during that period. Think about Imran. I think these viewers, your viewers today, has they should have some idea, imagining how horrible the war was, and how much that we were pushed to the war.
And
we didn't want that war.
No,
we are not a war
we are not a warrior race.
No.
Bengalis
are
are
not
not militants.
And I think a show like this has allowed us to share that to the next generation. And I think it's really helped with understanding, just giving a little insight into how it went. So I have to thank you, all 3 of you, for coming on today's show. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. Would you like to say anything before we finish today?
No, thank you. আজকের অনুষ্ঠানে আপনারা আমারও দাওয়াত করে লাগে আর আসলে সরি আমি অনেক ইমোশনালি সো আমি চাই না আমার লাহানার খেগো মানে ইলা দুঃখ হোক বাট এন্ড অফ ডে বাংলাদেশ যদি সুখে থাকে আমরা সুখে থাকবো যারা মারা গেছেন তারাও সুখে থাকবো
And I think as we have all said, I think we all feel that pride and feel that happiness in us, the
Okay,
fact
honey,
that
just
we are
one
the
thing for your
superiors. So thank you
viewers.
so much for coming on to today's show.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for joining me
It's
and
a proud
sharing.
heritage. They should be proud
Definitely.
of their heritage.
Definitely.
Oh, they
And
ought to be
with
very
It's
proud.
Our Day, we love to spread that message. And I hope we can have several shows like this in It's Our Day and spreading the
Thank you
message
very much
and
for
the
having
power
us.
of us and our Bangladeshi people.
We are
Thank
honored.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's show. I hope everyone at home has learnt something, has felt something, and feels a little bit of pride to be Bangladeshi. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's show, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.